Welcome to the Lineage Podcast, where we tackle life's curveballs with wisdom, a dash of humor, one laugh at a time. Today we're going to be talking about parenting teens as a single parent. So parenting teenagers is already a trip on its own. Parenting teenagers as a single parent is double the trip. If you're joining us for the first time, I have 3 children. I have 2 teenagers, a boy and a girl, and I have a preteen who are all way older and wiser beyond their years. So the parenting journey is rewarding, challenging in equal measure. And some of the tips that I'm going to share with you are working for me, have been working for me, and they might work for you as well. So one of the things that I do is ensure that I have a very open communication with my teenagers, with my children really. So we got separated with the dad when they were pretty young. So one of the things that I intentionally did from then is have very open communication with them. Things have changed. It sounds cliche, the script that we usually see in movies, but it's true. Things have changed. We love you. It's not your fault. You have got to address those feelings with the children, and you have got to do it knowing that there are different levels, because then I had preteens and a young child. So having an open communication has really helped me with my kids get through the tough, the good. It doesn't mean that we don't fight, but we are able to get through the issues that happen, and the teenage years have not been as crazy as I thought they would be, to be honest. So one of the things that I do is spend individual time with the kids. So every once a month, I will go on a date with each of the kids on their own. Again, if you're joining for the first time, you might have missed the last time, one of the episodes when I said how I get home and everybody is talking at the same time. So that is the mode of operation in my house. Everybody wants to be heard, and it's understandable because they have mommy who they need to bring all their issues to. So what I do each and every single month, I have a date night, a date day set out for each of my kids. So my firstborn loves dressing up, going out for dinner, and exploring trying out cuisine and stuff like that. He's not a cheap date, but that helps because during this one-on-one time with him, I'm able to gain insight into his life, the challenges that he's dealing with, how he's finding life. I just give him attention. It's just him and I. My daughter, on the other hand, will want to go for a late movie, pass by a drive-through. That's her. And you see, by having individual date time with each and every one of them, it's allowing me to focus on them and love them based on their love language. The little one is easy. So let's go to the gaming arcade. Let's pass by a fast food joint and grab some fast food. But this has helped, one, create the connection, because you cannot have open communication if you don't have connection with your children, and treating them as individuals. And also, another thing that has worked for me is having clarity of expectations. What I expect of them as my children, and I've also clarified expectations to them as their mother. So for example, weekend, they know one day a week, one day of the weekend, mommy will take her time out to go and do her scripts, write whatever, go for coffee with friends, whatever it is. But they also know one night of the weekend we're going to be home watching movies, playing games, etc. I have managed their expectations so that I'm not telling them on Friday mommy is going out or mommy is doing something and they're looking at me like, but you went the other day. So they know. So it's very interesting such that if I don't go 2 consecutive weeks, they ask me, are you okay? Are you broke? I remember one day the little one asked me, but then mommy, I can give you my pocket money. You go for a glass of wine. I know you have had a long week. So I have created expectations with them, and they know this is mommy's time, and they respect that. Being a good listener. I recently had a very interesting friendship. Every time I would call my friend and tell her what I'm going through, because it has been a very tough year, and tell her what I'm going through, she would move into solutioning, or she would move into accountability mode. And I remember complaining and just telling her, yo, sometimes when I'm calling you, I just need for you to listen. I just want to vent. And it hit me. Sometimes when my kids come to me, they just want to vent. They just want to vent that they had a really bad day. As parents, we're always thinking that we need to give them solutions. And I think because of the open communication that I have with my children, sometimes they'll come and they're going on a rant. And I jump into solutioning mode and they're like, Mommy, I just need for you to listen. So remember, sometimes your kids just need for you to listen, not give solutions. And sometimes when they're telling you things that are shocking, you need to manage your facial expressions. Because they will come to you when you have open communication with their children. They'll come to you with some interesting stories. So you need to manage your facial expressions so that they can keep coming and know when to take a deep breath and go like, you know what, this one we're going to revisit. So another one that works for me is encouraging them to have independence. You can imagine I have work, I run a foundation, I am running a home for 3 children. I'm running a home, I have 3 children. I'm a professional woman. So one thing I have learned, I've taught my kids to be independent. So when you wake up in the morning, for example, you know the things you need to do. If we are going somewhere, now they're all old enough, which is easier. If you're going somewhere for a couple of days, you need to be able to pack up your things. My older one is in college. So at the beginning of the week, I'll give him his money. And I'll tell him, this is your fare, this is your transport money, this is your lunch money, organize yourself. I'm teaching him independence because in a couple of years, he'll be out of my house. So if I do not equip them with these skills, they will be forever dependent on me. And as a single parent, you can't afford to have kids fully dependent on you, because what happens when you're not here? So you need to give them life skills, equip them with life skills, such that, and not being here is not dying. You could have traveled. I travel quite a bit for my work sometimes. And the fact that I know my kids are independent and they know the boundaries, they know what we do, they know our structures, makes it easy for me to be out there knowing that they're going to take good care of themselves and of each other. Another one is modeling healthy behavior. Because healthy relationship behaviors and healthy just behaviors, full stop. So for example, I really enjoy working out. I encourage my children to do the same, because today's world, we have seen the suicide rates for teenagers going up in a very alarming rate, because kids don't know what to do with their emotions. When we were growing up, we would play outside a lot. Nowadays, we have kids who are staying indoors so much. So encourage them, model good behavior. In terms of relationships, this is a time for you to teach your teenagers that relationships come and go. Their hearts will be broken. What happens when their hearts are broken? They need to know, and you need to have conversations with them through your own experience that relationships are there for a reason and a season. Model the behavior. So if you are in a relationship, it could be a friendship, families fall out. It could be a romantic relationship and it ends because you're a single parent, you're going to be dating. And sometimes it will even get serious. You will find that you have introduced your children to this person. Then that relationship ends. Are you just going to ignore and assume that it never existed, or will you have conversations with your children? I feel like this is such an amazing opportunity, a learning opportunity for the kids, for them to know that it's actually healthy to walk away from spaces that are not working for you. And sometimes somebody's going to walk away from you. It could be the toxic one. And it's okay for you to encourage your children to learn from each and every experience that they go through in their lives. Establish a support system. As a single parent, you cannot survive alone. The support system, again, as I have said before, it could be the people around, it could be your nanny, it could be your driver. And your driver doesn't necessarily have to be somebody on a payroll. You need to have somebody you know you can call anytime you need somebody to run errands. It could be your mom, it could be your family. For me, my support system is my cousins, it is my mother, it is my sister when she is around, it is my nanny, whom I treasure and value very much. It's the two drivers that I have on call when I cannot be able to play driver to my kids, or when I know they just need to go to school or something and I'm not available. When I'm traveling, who's going to take care of them? So ensure you have a support system, a healthy support system around you. You might find yourself in spaces where you are a single parent and you're not co-parenting. So you're solo, 100% single parent. The support system comes in very, very handy. Because their roles as a woman, their roles, I as a woman cannot be able to play for my children. I cannot be a father to them. I cannot be a male figure to them. And not just for the boy child, because we keep talking about the boy child and their fathers, but girls as well need their father. So what will you do? What kind of support system will you have around you to ensure that those gaps that exist because of the space you find in are covered? It could be a cousin, it could be a brother. In my case, I don't have a brother. So one of the things that happened to me is that I had very high expectations of the male figures around me. I thought they would just quickly plug in and plug and play and be the male figures for my children. I quickly learned that everybody has a life for themselves. Everybody has a hustle. Everybody has children. And that taught me to manage expectations. So it has taken a lot of start, stop, try for me to be able to establish and find father figures or role models for my children. Manage your expectations. Be very careful how you are introducing these father figures, these male models to your children, because you don't want to set them for failure again. Remember, your children have already come from a space where they have dealt with a relationship that has broken, or one parent is not there through whatever means. So you need to ensure that you're not setting them up for another rejection. You're not setting them up for another space where they're going to end up feeling wanted, because you might introduce them. And I did that. I'm sharing from experience. Initially, I had expectations from people who were very close to me. But the expectations that I had, I don't think I had made them clear to them. And they were not in the space, mental space. They didn't have the bandwidth to play the role that I expected them to play. Again, having open conversations and talking to your children and letting them know these will not work out. It's not working out because of A, B, C, D. So yeah, you have to keep trying until you find the person who you have shared values. If you have families who can play these roles, then you're very lucky. Sometimes it's people from your church. This one is, you have to try and find what works for you and works for your children. And what I've seen, you might not be able to find one male figure that works for all your children. So there's a person who is very close to my last born. There's a person who is amazingly close with my firstborn. And there's a person who a family person, a relative who my daughter is comfortable speaking about certain things, or just knowing that person is there helps. So another thing that I have found as a single parent to teenagers, you need to stay informed. Stay informed on who their friends are. Stay informed on what they like, what their values are, where they are going. So for a while, my house, and I was very happy, used to be the hangout point for my older son. So he would always be here hanging out with his friends, watching movies. I loved that. It was expensive. Teenagers can eat. But I loved knowing where they are, what they are doing, and seeing the kind of value system that the kids around him had. And we ended up being friends with most of the friends that he had, the parents of the friends he had in high school. That helps. Understand what's happening in social circles. When you're parenting teenagers, you're the shadiest parent they have ever seen. But I thank God it has started taking the curve. I keep saying every time I buy something, and I'm very careful when I'm buying stuff, my daughter is always asking me, let me see what you have bought for us. Let me see the kind of shoes you bought for us. Because now she's at that stage that we're sharing everything. She will come into my wardrobe and just raid it. So understand what is happening socially, understand what's happening with your children, understand what is happening with their friends. You have got to learn to manage. I remember one of my friends telling me, you need to learn to redeem your facial expressions, because they will come and tell you things that are quite shocking. How you behave will determine whether they'll come back or not. So Know what is happening, know what's happening in their lives, know what's happening socially. Know your children so well, and you only know them by spending a lot of time with them, such that when they walk in the door, you can tell something is off. When they walk in the door, you can tell that child is not okay. So also encourage responsible behavior. And in terms of, again, all these are sort of tied. So when we are budgeting for anything big in the house, we actually have a discussion. So for example, we are budgeting for Christmas holiday. And I'm like, things are thick because we're doing ABCD. So we are all working towards it. So you find when any one of them is asking for something that is not a need, is a want, somebody is asking for luxury, they go like, wait, will this affect our Christmas holiday? And sometimes I'm a parent, so sometimes I go like, yes, it will. They're like, it's fine, forget about it. So I have taught them that for you to get the things that you need in life, you have got to work towards them. And I remember I cut my hair not so long ago, and then I was not putting products on my nails because I wanted them to be strong, so to be strong. And my last one came and asked me, Mommy, are you broke? Are we broke? Can I give you my pocket money for you to make your nails? Because he knows we're working towards some goals. So in his little head, in his little mind, he wondered, maybe Mom is putting away all the money and that's why she's not doing her nails. So he offered me money to go and do my nails. That was super hilarious, but it was good. It was good. So work, involve them in what you're doing, and that makes it easier for you as a parent. As a single parent, one thing that I found myself doing earlier was overcompensating. I talked about this in one of our earlier podcasts, and I remember buying Christmas presents and overbuying, going over and above. And then January came and I was broke. I was doing that because I desperately wanted to take away my kids' pain, but I was doing that the wrong way. I was doing that through gifts and stuff like that. So as we have gone, as time has healed, we have gotten to a level of, at the beginning of the year, you need to be very clear on the list of things that you want. Are they realistic? Are they needs? Are they wants? And be realistic on what you can get and what you can't get, and we work towards it. Another one that is critical for a single parent is taking care of yourself. I have said this over and over, and I'll keep saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have got to take care of yourself for you to be able to take care of your children. Your teen children are beautiful. They are amazing. This is the time that they actually need you more. You need to be present. You need to be plugged in. And you cannot be present and be on phone. There's quantity and quality time. Go for quality time. I'd rather be home for 1 hour and be completely plugged in. That 1 hour I'll not even answer phone calls. I remember when I found myself in this single space, and I was so scared of leaving my kids alone because I was feeling like I'm the only one parent. So I felt like I needed to be present 100% of the time. I needed them there. I just wanted to be looking at them. And what this was doing, because I was still healing, I was not in a proper mental space to be the kind of mom they needed for me to be. So I would just be there all sad, looking at them, they're looking at me. They're also sad, they're dealing with their emotions. So what I've learned is quality over quantity. I'd rather hang out with my youngest for 30 minutes when we are reading, we are playing a game, but I'm present, I'm plugged in, I'm giving him attention, than be seated there, I'm so tired, I'm zombied out, I'm watching the TV and he's over there talking to me because he can talk. He's talking to me and I'm not listening. One other thing that you need to do when you're parenting teens is ensure that you are surrounding yourself with other teen moms, other moms of teens, who you have shared values. Find groups where you can plug in, where they're going to be able to do things together. There is group mentoring that both my older ones have been in and has really worked for them, because you find they're discussing things that you might not be able to discuss at home. You have topical issues running across the whole year. So these are some of the tips that have worked for me, and I hope they can work for you. If you're a teen mom, a single mom, you could be a single parent. Let me not say a single mom, because we have dads who are single, they're raising teenagers, and you also struggling with your own unique set of struggles. Please comment in the comment section. Let's engage. Let's see how we can be able to learn from each other, because I know we are such a big community of single parents out there. Thank you so much for listening today. Please share, like this episode, and subscribe so that you don't miss future episodes.